Well. We meet again, everybody. It is your glorious host, Joe Miglio, here to bring you another episode of Perfect Spiral. Episode number 41. And we are coming into the home stretch of the NFL regular season. Week 14 is upon us. We have 5 weeks of the NFL season remaining, and there are plenty of moves to be made in the standings in those 5 weeks to go. For instance, 4 playoff teams in the AFC, seeds 1 through 4, all have 4 losses. Every single one. Crazy. A lot of movement can happen. In the NFC, I believe the 1 through 4 seeds are decided by two games in the loss column. A lot of movement. We are going to get right into it today. We are going to cover 3 of the biggest games of this past weekend. And 3 games that have, in our opinions, major playoff implications. And they are all in the AFC. Every single game was in the AFC. And then we're going to get into our sleepers and busts. We are going to really dive into this AFC today. We've been homing on it. It is wide open. So we are going to get into it. We're going to break down 3 of the biggest games this weekend with leading of the Patriots and the Bills. And then a couple of other ones. If you want them, you got to keep on listening. Got John. We got Joe. We're ready to rock and roll with PSP. Episode number 41. Spencer, roll the tape.
You play to win the game.
Touchdown! Can't wait.
All right. Here we are. We're here. John, we are here.
We just had dinner.
Just ate a little bit.
A little bit of pizza. I've been dying the last 3 days.
John's just, he's fine. He's fine.
Not cool.
Spider-Man comes out in a week from tomorrow, John.
I know. I can't wait.
Week from tomorrow, Spider-Man comes out.
Stay off Twitter, everybody.
Cannot wait.
You're going to get spoiled.
Matrix comes out like a week from next Tuesday.
I know. The 22nd, right?
Yeah. I'm ready.
You're jazzed. Did you finish the 3 again or no?
I'm watching Matrix Reloaded with Izzy tonight after we're done with the pod.
Nice. That's the second one.
Yeah.
And then Revolutions is the third one.
Revolution's the third one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Very excited. But we are not here to talk about movies. It's not a movie podcast. This is not Cinema Blend or Screen Rant.
Oh, wow. Shout out Cinema Blend and Scream Rant.
Yeah. This is Perfect Spiral, where we talk about NFL football 24/7, 365. And I am your host, Joe Miglio. And my co-host in front of me, to my north, is John McCarthy. John, you said you didn't feel well. Are you feeling any better?
You know, I just want to let everybody know if my voice sounds weird or I cough or like I sniffle. You will not get COVID through the microphone. Everybody will be safe. But no, I'm good. I don't know. I had like a little bug or something since Thanksgiving. We went to play in the Turkey Bowl. That messed me up, I think. Because like I was better and then I played in the Turkey Bowl. And then I got like sick again.
There you go. Let it out, baby. Let it out.
Oh, so bad.
Well, while John's recovering and coughing, I'm going to tell you that if you want to subscribe, review, or comment to our podcast, please do so by any of the following platforms: Apple, Spotify, Google, Pandora, Deezer, Stitcher, Buzzsprout. We're on every single one. Make sure you're downloading our episodes. Make sure you're listening to our episodes, because that's how we give you more. Well, today, there's not going to be an educational piece on the state of the NFL. There's not going to be an educational piece on how to construct a team. There's not going to be a piece on rookies or driving the bus. No, there's none of that today. Today, we are going straight into it, John. Straight into it. Week 13. The AFC gets even wilder.
It's insane right now.
Gets even wilder. Before we do that, let us do what we normally do and go into the Week 13 score recap brought to you by Bleacher Report.
Oh.
That's the app I'm using right now. Well, where are we going to start? In Duval County, where the Jaguars, yes, they did, lost again to the LA Rams, 37-7. Listen back to the podcast just before, and I said, in my Rams rant, even if the Rams defeat the Jaguars by 30, I will not be impressed. The Rams won exactly by 30 points against the Jaguars on Sunday.
You called it. You knew
I did. So we are going to cover this game, the Patriots defeating the Bills in the windy game that was Monday night by a score of 14-10 to take not only sole possession of first place in the AFC East, but take sole possession of first place in the AFC. Patriots back on top where they belong. In Kansas City, the Chiefs keep their winning ways by scoring 22 points and only giving up 9 to the Denver Broncos in a 22-9 victory. Kansas City's 5th win in a row since starting the season, 3-5. Seattle hurt us and got DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett involved. And guess what? They won a football game at home against the San Francisco 49ers, 30-23. Another game we're going to cover, the Steelers and defeating the Ravens by the narrowest of margins, 2019. And what an interesting call.
Very interesting call.
By John Harbaugh. We'll get into that. Washington wins its 4th in a row by walking into Allegiant Stadium and defeating the Vegas Raiders, 17-15. And the third and final game we're going to cover today, the Chargers and the Bengals. The Chargers almost chargered themselves in Cincy, but came away with the victory 41-22. John, I'm sorry to bring this up.
Oh, God.
But the Detroit Lions are winless no more. They shocked the Minnesota Vikings 29-27 at home for Jared Goff's first win.
I'm waving you off. Why do you have to keep giving more? You're like adding to it. Just go to the next score.
Jared Goff's first win
Jesus.
since leaving Sean McVay, and Dan Campbell's first win as Lions head coach. And I will tell you this, John. I listened back to the podcast, and I said, you said, ooh, are the Lions your upset special? I said, no, I'm picking them to lose by 4. Do you know how many points they were down by? Do you know how many points they were down by before they scored the touchdown? 4 points.
And you know what's funny? The thing that you said about Goff, I don't want to give the Lions any more credit than they got. My friend Richie, who listens to this pod, my neighbor, he's gonna be like, "Fuck you, John." I'm surprised he didn't text me that. He said something to me. I was dead anyway. So that was Goff's first win with any coach other than Sean McVay. He never won with Jeff Fisher. He never won with the interim coach in St. Louis.
Yeah,
and he never won with Dan Campbell before.
Crazy, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's wild.
Absolutely nuts.
And you know what? Jared Goff, to his credit, has been playing okay ball.
Yeah, I mean,
like
he played
great,
decent on Thanksgiving too. Yeah, right.
He was solid.
Well, the Lions get their first win. Congratulations to them. Eagles go 1-1 at MetLife Stadium as they defeat the Jets 33-18 behind Gardner Minshew. And Gardner was very good on Sunday. Arizona Cardinals get Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins back and get a victory in Chicago 33-22. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers walk into Atlanta and take care of business there, defeating the Falcons 30-17. The Dolphins get their 5th win in a row behind the accurate Tua, defeat the anemic Giants 20-9. The Colts blank Houston in Houston 31-0. And finally, on this past Thursday, exactly a week ago, the Dallas Cowboys got by the New Orleans Saints 27-17. John, we are going to start in Buffalo Monday night in a game that...
Wait, real quick.
Yes.
Not to cut you off.
Sure.
There's one thing on the scoreboard I wanted to get to.
Okay.
Another quick shout out on the scoreboard. We're doing scoreboard shout outs today. Shout out to the Miami Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa. He has been unbelievable.
It's been great. We talked about it last week. Yeah.
Unbelievable. 80% accuracy.
Yeah.
I mean, they've looked good, man. And honestly, they're not out of it. When we get to the
6-7 as we currently speak. I believe they're 8th eighth or ninth, I think, in the AFC at the current moment.
Don't count them out yet.
Absolutely not. We're gonna go over the standings before the segment ends, and I'm gonna tell you where the Dolphins are.
Buffalo, New England.
Buffalo, New England. In a first game, I believe, first game really this season, that weather played a severe factor in the game. Mm-hmm. If you were paying attention to the game before the kickoff, you saw how cold it was. You saw how cold the reporters were. You saw the wind. Did you see that video, that Barstool video, where I think it was Nick Folk trying to kick, and the kick went completely.
Oh yeah, it was like
it was crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts.
And right from the get-go, I don't know how you felt, John, but how I felt is that favored New England dramatically.
100%.
Because that's what they do. They run the ball and they play defense, right? And the pass is complementary to their offensive attack. Now let's get into this game for a minute, right? Well, let's talk about the obvious thing first, right? Patriots run the ball 46 times in that game for over 220 yards rushing. 240 yards rushing, I think, actually. And Mac Jones passes the ball 3 times. Legitimately 3 times. He had 1 pass attempt going into the fourth quarter of that football game.
He had 5 more rushes than passes.
That's ridiculous.
He ran 5 times in that game.
The Buffalo Bills offense was kind of business as usual. They tried to run the ball a little bit more, but ineffectively. Very ineffectively. And I want to talk about this Patriot scheme on how they approach this game. The balls that Bill Belichick has to run that offensive game plan and win. I mean, that's a game where you tell your offensive line, hey, we're going to win tonight because of you guys. Right? If you guys do not play your best, we're not going to win. And they went out there and listen, yes, there was a reporter that asked the Buffalo defense, Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, if they were embarrassed that they lost. And Jordan Poyer said, no, it was 4. He gave 14 points. We're not embarrassed. Here's where they should be embarrassed. You let a football team run on you 46 times for over 240 yards rushing.
Didn't they have 28 straight rushing plays at one point?
More than that. It was like 32.
Yeah, it was insane.
I mean, we're talking about literally, okay, and I'm going to do some math here. We're talking about 5.3 yards a carry.
Insane.
John, I mean, tell me something I don't know. Seriously, because I don't know what the deal is here. If you're Leslie Frazier, who is the Buffalo Bills defensive coordinator, if you're Sean McDermott, right, head coach of the Buffalo Bills, and you see, right, we saw as fans, right, what the Patriots were not trying to do, they were doing over the first quarter, over the second quarter of this game, right? You want to do that in the first half? Fine, right? As a head coach, okay, you caught us by surprise.
Yeah.
Kudos to you, right? And the game was what, 10-7, I think?
Yeah, something like that.
Or 7-3.
It was very close.
It was something crazy, right?
Game was never out of reach.
The Patriots came out second half and did the same thing. And it feels like that Buffalo didn't adjust.
Not at all.
Like at all. It's like, New England constantly set up in these jumbo packages all night long.
It was so obvious too. It's like they're gonna run again.
Now, you're playing 11-on-11 football, right? We always talk about 8 guys in the box, putting 8 guys in the box. If anyone doesn't know what 8 guys in the box means, it means so you either play a 3-4 or a 4-3 base defense most of the time, and that means that you have either 3 or 4 down linemen and 3 or 4 linebackers, 7 personnel, right? Now you got me coughing. Now,
oh God, here we go.
No.
Now you're dying too.
8 men in the box means you throw an extra lineman or an extra linebacker in that quote unquote box to help stop the run. Why wouldn't we put 9 guys in the box? Why aren't we putting 10 guys in the box? Right? You saw how windy it was, right? And I think the play that told us how different the wind was. You remember that throw that Josh Allen tried to make to the stuff to Diggs over the top, that like 40-yard pass play he tried with Diggs. And Diggs usually catches that ball in his sleep, right?
Yeah, easy.
But because of how the ball was weaving in the air, it made him more difficult for him to catch the ball, right? So if it's that difficult for the receivers to make a catch on that type of throw, right, which was a great, all things considered, was a great throw by Josh Allen.
Yeah, tremendous arm strength in those conditions.
Absolutely. Why aren't you trying to let Mac Jones beat you? And again, nothing against Mac Jones, but my dude had only attempted one pass all night long. Okay? So I'm not saying they didn't trust him. I'm saying they did not trust the ball to be thrown on Monday night. So how are you not putting 2 extra down linemen down? How are you not putting an extra linebacker? How are you not putting an extra safety, a box safety, to even just, why?
You know, I'll say this about that, why I think so. I don't think it would have made a difference. You want to know why?
Tell me.
Because New England was just killing them at the point of attack every single time.
England,
it wasn't even a question.
New England, and this is where I think the reporter's embarrassment comment came from. They dominated them at the line of scrimmage.
Dominated. And then, shout out N'Keal Harry. Run blocking N'Keal Harry. Hunter Henry. Listen, this is... You want to talk about the Patriot way? This was a Patriot way win, man. This was a team win. Belichick was fired the fuck up after this win. You want to talk about some of the best coaching performances by him? This is top 5.
I believe so too.
It was incredible. It was a tour de force.
Let's put this into perspective, right? For Tom Brady leaves at the end of 2019, right? 2020 comes. You got Cam. You know, your team's okay. They're not great. You finished 7-9. It's kind of what everybody expected, right? You lost Brady, so the team's going to go downhill, right? Mm-hmm. They make all these mediocre, free agent signings. They draft Mac Jones. You know, they start Mac, and they start off 2-4.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, it's the Patriots without Brady. Now they've rattled off, 7 wins in a row?
6 straight wins.
6 straight wins in a row? And, I'm sorry to all those Bills fans. You guys thought you had the division locked up for the next 10 years.
You don't.
You had Josh Allen. You had Tre'Davious White. You got Stephon. You guys thought you had it easy. Well, back comes creeping Bill and the Patriots, and now all of a sudden, the Patriots. You look today at the standings, and look who's back on top of the AFC East.
It was just a straight tour de force, Joe. I watched that whole game, and I'm just like, you know what's funny? And this was one of my other big takeaways, right, about this game. You look at Buffalo on the sideline, right? You look at Buffalo's offense.
Right.
They're watching the Patriots run the ball 40 fucking times.
Yeah.
They don't use Josh Allen in that way.
I was going to bring that up. I'm glad you did.
I don't know why, for whatever reason, you're not running option 20 times in that game. This was a ball control game. You were not throwing the ball. I'm sorry. You were not throwing the ball. No matter what you did, the ball wasn't flying. It was a hard game to play, air raid football. I'm sorry. It was a tough game.
Josh Allen threw the ball 30 times in this game. I don't think that's... In those conditions, I didn't think that was a recipe for success. He completed 15 of 30 passes for 145 yards and a touchdown. And let me be clear, the only time the Buffalo Bills scored in this game was after N'Keal Harry had the bonehead play on the punt where the ball went off his helmet. And they had a short field.
Freak thing.
It's the only time they scored a touchdown.
Yep. But why aren't they going in the half and going, you know what, man? We see what they're doing over there. I mean, we want to have the ball last.
Listen to this, okay? The Patriots ran the ball 16. Patriots ran the ball 16 plus 8. 25 times. All right? So they ran the ball 19 times less than New England, okay? But listen to these numbers, okay? Devin Singletary, 10 for 36, 3.6 yards a carry. Zach Moss, 8 for 21, 2.6 yards a carry. Okay? Matt Breida had 1 carry for 3 yards. Okay? Josh Allen ran the ball 6 times for 39 yards at a 6.5 clip. Okay? I don't think it's a mystery, or I don't think it's like a hot take to say that Josh Allen is the Buffalo Bills' best running back. Much like the Baltimore Ravens' best runner is Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, and I was going to bring this up. You needed to run the ball in that game, and ball control was kind of a big deal in that game. How is Josh Allen not running the ball 15 to 20 times in that game? How is that not part of the game plan?
Why aren't they running like a sweep with Diggs?
I don't. Yeah, some
Or
jet sweep. Even
Isaiah
the
McKenzie, something.
Even the Patriots did it with Kendrick Bourne a couple of times. They did some jet sweeps just to change things up. You can't run up the middle 40 times, obviously. So you get a couple of jet sweeps in there, give them different looks. The run, and this is what people wanted to criticize Buffalo for, right? And we talked about team building on our last episode and how the running back wasn't a super important part anymore. But we talked about the Bucs and how Leonard Fournette was good, not great, but he was somebody you had to account for.
Yeah.
Okay. The Buffalo Bills, you do not need to account for their run game or their running backs at all when game planning for them. You do not.
They're non-existent.
Like, if I'm a head coach and I'm looking at their personnel, I'm like, all right, well, we don't got to worry. I have to worry more about Gabriel Davis than I have to worry about Zach Moss.
Yeah.
I have to worry more about Cole Beasley than I have to worry about Devin Singletary. It's just the reality. You needed to run Josh Allen. I don't want to hear that we don't want to get Josh Allen hurt. That's bullshit. You're playing for the right to have not only a leg up on division, you have now a head-to-head matchup against New England. And the fact they lost in Buffalo. They lost at home. So now when they play them again,
in Foxborough,
they have to go to New England, and they have to beat them in New England. No one knows how the rest of the game is going to play out, right? But right now, they are trailing them. But Bills are 7-5, okay? And the Patriots, I believe, are not. The Patriots are 9-4.
Patriots are 9-4 right now?
They played 13 games.
Oh, wow.
I think they have a bye this week.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they have a bye this week.
So wait, so now on the topic of Buffalo, wow, I go to Google their schedule and I look up Buffalo Bill by accident. Why did that happen? All right.
Silence of the Lambs, Buffalo Bill?
No. Who?
Silence of the Lambs, Buffalo
Oh,
Bill?
God. It puts the lotion on the skin or it gets the hose again.
Stop, John!
Anyway, that movie's fucked up. Are we movie pod again?
Great movie.
We dropping movie names left
Great
and right
movie.
today. All right, so check this out, right? So, listen. The Bills have a huge game this week against Tampa in Tampa, okay?
Yeah.
That's a humongous game.
In Tampa?
In Tampa.
What has led you to believe they're going to win that game?
Nothing.
Okay.
There has been nothing from Buffalo. First of all, we forgot to even mention Tre'Davious White's out for the season.
Yeah. It's big.
That's a huge loss. This is not the same football team as last year.
No, it's not.
It's just simply
After
not.
13 weeks, you could now say that this is not the same football team as last year.
100% not. So wait. So now they have to go to Tampa.
Okay.
I don't think they win that game. So now
Just-
we're 7-7.
Just give me this 7-6.
7-6.
Okay.
Home for Carolina.
Okay. Should be a win.
Should be. In New England.
Maybe. Depends on where they are in 2 weeks.
Home for Atlanta.
Should win.
And home for the Jets.
Okay. So you're telling me, at worst, I think they go 10-7. Now that gets them a playoff spot. But for a team who had Super Bowl aspirations, you're telling me 10-7 wild card team not necessarily does not get a home playoff game in a place where I think they're that stadium is a top 3 arena in terms of home field advantage.
You know what it
That's
is, Joe?
huge.
They don't scare anybody, Joe. They don't scare anybody. Nobody's scared of Buffalo right now.
I mean, listen, their defense is great, okay? And their defense played well again on Monday night. But again, there were not going to be a lot of points scored in that game because of the conditions, right? But here's the reality. You got bullied. Right? For once, for a change, The Bills were the Goliath and the Patriots were the David, right? And that has not been said a lot over the course of the past 20 to 25 years about the New England Patriots. But the Patriots were the little, like, you know, were the little engine that could. And they had something to prove to this to not to just the Bills. John, they're on national TV in a really, really weather-affected game. You have a quarterback who is really playing in his first winter game up in New England. The kid went to Alabama, right? And they barely used him. He was there. Even Matthew Judon made a joke after the game. He was like, "Yeah, kudos to the offense, except Mac Jones. He just handed the ball off all night. He ain't wrong.
He really did just hand the ball off.
That's what he did. I mean, honestly, like Brian Hoyer could have done that. You know?
Yeah.
So I mean, like, listen, I'm giving a lot of credit to New England because they had a game plan. They came out and they inserted their will. Okay? I left a lot to be desired with Buffalo because I wanted more.
Yeah.
I wanted more. I felt like I didn't get in a fight from them. Like I did not get the same energy from them that I got from New England.
They checked out early. It definitely seemed like they checked out
Think
early.
so? You really think so? That is an indictment if you're saying they checked out on a team that has been to the playoffs 2 years in a row, a team that was in the AFC title game last year. You're telling me in a game that they had to play in week 13 with the AFC East division on the line, you're telling me they laid down by the halfway through the third quarter?
Joe, I'll tell you why I think they laid down before we move on, because I want to mention the New England schedule going forward. You know why I think they laid down? One, I'll give you two reasons. One, I hate the fact that Sean McDermott came out and said, "Oh, let's not give Belichick more credit than he should."
Why?
Get. Dude, he outcoached the shit out of you. Like, you could have done the same thing. And that, like, we spoke about it.
Bills
10
can't
minutes
run
ago.
the football. They just can't do it.
They could have just used, like we were saying before, they could have just used Josh Allen. But here's the problem. You know why I think they checked out? They just were not tough enough for this game. They just got out-muscled, out-coached, outplayed, outran. They ran them out of the stadium. And it's funny because they play and practice in similar conditions.
So I'm so glad you just brought that up.
So, like, how are you so underprepared for the conditions?
How
like,
are you?
Buffalo.
Their football team's not built that way.
Exactly, and that it's not. You just don't have it, and they knew they didn't have it, and they checked out.
Their football team is built to be playing in like Miami. Honestly,
in a dome, they're like
Yeah.
a dome football team. Air it out. Like, we're gonna go into a 50-point shootout with somebody. I mean, listen,
you're
Buffalo,
playing in Buffalo. You have to win in the snow. Like you have to
Yeah.
win. You have to win in those cold weather
So
conditions.
this game was just an aberration. They just like forgot like how to be.
If
in the
there's one
elements.
game you get up for this season, it's against the Patriots. Bill Belichick is still on that sideline. They're always going to be prepared.
You know what I'm saying right now, Joe? Really quick before we get to New England,
Sure.
I'm making a cross off right now.
Oh,
I'm Super Bowl crossing off the Buffalo Bills.
Super Bowl crossing.
Super
off.
Bowl crossing off, as you would say. I'm out.
You're out.
They are not a contender to me. Sorry. I don't care if you beat the Saints 31-6 on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That's not really saying a lot.
Wow. How the mighty have fallen.
It's crazy. And you know what's funny is when we get to the AFC and we get to Kansas City, I have something to say about them too.
Okay, cool.
But New England schedule going forward, Joe.
Sure.
Check this out. So after the bye,
Right.
they're in Indy.
Okay. Tough game.
Tough game.
Tough
But
game.
Listen, if Bill knows how to do one thing well, it's eliminate your best player. He's going to do his best to eliminate Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, of course.
It's going to be very hard, though. Home for Buffalo.
Okay. Another tough. So two tough games back to back.
The toughest game of the last four. Home for Jacksonville.
They might win that game by 50 points. Legitimately.
Jeez. You're saying it now, so you could we could screen cap it. And then they're in Miami. Not a
So 3 of their last 4 games are not of the easy variety.
no.
Okay. So, but you got to think they go 2-2 in that stretch based off, and one of those wins is against Buffalo. They finish 11-6 and have the division.
Yeah. They're in the driver's seat right now.
I mean, listen, the way they're playing right now, they could go 4-0 in that stretch.
They could not lose again the rest of the season.
Right. I mean, the way they're playing right now and the way that defense is playing, they could easily go 13-4.
Matt Judon, defensive player of the year
And I
material.
think very possible. Didn't you at the preseason have them at 12-5?
I did.
Winning the AFC East?
I did.
God bless you.
That was one thing I got right.
Good job.
Everything else was just fucked.
Let's move on. And we're going to go to Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to talk about the Ravens and the Steelers.
What a game, man. Marlon Humphrey out for the season.
And, John, I'm going to defer to you on this one. We got to talk about... So, the game coming down to the wire, right? Baltimore didn't look great offensively all night, all day.
They haven't looked great for weeks now.
Yeah, and they finally got a touchdown on the last drive. What the hell happened at the end of this football game?
So, first things first, the report came out this past week that Roethlisberger's like done in Pittsburgh, right? You saw that?
Yeah, I did.
And everybody's like, all right, dude, whatever, we don't care. Like, you've been done for years now. And then he puts out like, it almost like he goes out and like does like a swan song performance, and like he actually looked good. It's so weird. Like, why does he need to hype himself up that he's going to retire in order for him to play well?
I know.
It's so strange. Deontay Johnson, stud.
Big stud.
Big stud. Unreal. But I'll say this. What happened on that last play? It made absolutely no sense.
Why does he decide to go for two?
You have the best kicker in the game. You have the most dangerous weapon in football in Justin Tucker. I'll say that. And you didn't want to kick the field goal? But his excuse for going for two is that they didn't have enough healthy cornerbacks on the roster.
Wait a second.
That's what he said, because Marlon Humphrey is hurt.
Okay. Granted, Marlon Humphrey's hurt. No. That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse.
You know, it was total bullshit. And honestly, that was like a throw Lamar makes in his sleep. He just...
Yeah, everyone was kind of blaming Andrews for that. I'm not. That throw was...
terrible.
The throw was not great.
He was like nervous almost.
But now, obviously, I know the coach isn't thinking about this in the moment, right? But why? I mean, you have to have like standings implications in your head, right? You have to be thinking about that. You're 8-3, right? And you're like, okay, like, where do we fall? I mean, I know he's not thinking about this in game, right? It can't be. But like, that's a big loss for them. It's a big loss.
Yeah, it's a major loss, and not to mention it makes the division even closer than it was.
I mean, if Cincinnati would have won, they'd be tied for. They would be in second place right now.
And then the Steelers are playing tonight.
But why aren't you giving yourselves an opportunity to just win in overtime?
You know why, Joe? I have an answer for you.
Tell me.
Because John Harbaugh is very analytically driven. This is his issue, and this. I think when we were looking at this team early in the season, we were saying, well, what's the problem, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they win games. They have an absolute freak athlete at quarterback. Mm. There's something to be said here. But what's the problem? Well, the problem is that this team lives and dies by analytics. The analytics said to go for two. I don't want to hear about the BS with no cornerbacks, whatever. If you don't have enough backup players in your roster, that's just malpractice. That's just stupid.
I mean, you could put a safety at corner.
Yeah, like what the hell? Like, that didn't make any sense.
And just play man.
But the analytics told him to go for two and not play for overtime. Why? But this is what we've seen from them year in and year out is it's like no risk and no biscuit with them. And so you can't do that. Like, it's like in Madden, right? It's like you're playing your Madden franchise. Like, you always want to go for it on like 4th and 30, right?
Right.
Because you're just like, fuck it. Like, it's Madden. But the smart play in Madden is to punt it, play defense and get the ball back. These guys play like it's Madden. Like, you know what? We're on the goal line, 4th and 5, screw it. Let's go for it with the game on the line. Let's not use Justin Tucker and kick a field goal. It just doesn't make any sense. So this is the problem with this team is they're so analytically driven. If they didn't keep going by these numbers and they actually played football the way they should be playing football, but listen, Joe, I can't say they're the only team that's doing this in the league. 4th down attempts are skyrocketing in the NFL, right? 4th down attempts are way higher than they've ever been. Teams are going for it on 4th down. Teams are not using their kickers as much. The kicker is like, you want to talk about an aberration in the league right now. Sometimes you don't even see the kicker.
I'm looking at Lamar's numbers. 23 of 37 for 253, a touchdown and an interception. Sacked 7 times in this game. 7.
He was a little lost.
7 times he was sacked. Ran the ball 8 times, 55 yards, and lost a fumble. Turned the ball over twice. Did not have a good game after not playing last week against Chicago. Remember what I said a couple weeks back about the Ravens after they lost to Miami? Mm-hmm. I said their offense goes when they go through 2 guys. Mark Andrews and Rashad Bateman. You know how many yards and catches those 2 combined for on Sunday?
5 for like 56.
4 for 50. You know how many passes Mark Andrews caught? 4 for 50. Rashad Bateman got 1 target in that game for no catches.
I know. He was a starter, my wide receiver too. Yep.
Again, in today's NFL, you cannot tell me that you cannot get the ball in your hands of your wide receivers, your electric playmakers, between jet sweeps and putting receivers in the backfield and throwing these wide receiver screens, bubble screens. You could get the ball in a receiver's hands. You can. He just chose not to. He chose not to. And I don't want to hear this garbage. This is why people aren't in on Baltimore. Too Jekyll and Hyde with the offense.
Yep. And it's this hardball mentality.
Now, this is 3 weeks, though, in a row now. The Miami game, the Chicago game, and the Pittsburgh game. Okay? They failed to score over 20 points in all 3 of those games, I believe. You know, granted, one of those games was with a backup quarterback. Right? They beat the Browns. 4 games in a row, I think. They beat the Browns last week 16-10. Okay?
In a game that was way closer than it should have been.
Right. Then they beat Chicago 16-13. And before that, they lost to Miami 22-10. So their last 4 games, they've put up 10, 16, 16, and 19. That's not going to get it done in the NFL if you want to win a Super Bowl. It's not going to get it done.
There's something wrong here.
The offense is not clicking right now. It's just not clicking. And, you know, we're always going to come back to this, and it's always going to be a thing. And I hate to say it, but it's the truth because he's having his best season as a passer. But Lamar Jackson has not been consistent in the passing the ball over the past month of the season, which is why they're not doing well.
Isn't it so crazy? A month ago, we were like, man, he might be ascending the ladder, right?
Right, and he's just reverted.
And we had that discussion. We had like a 15-minute conversation, like gushing over how Lamar is just kind of ascending. And now it's just like, all right, he got sick, and now he's back, and now he's just not playing well. It's just like something's off. Something's wrong.
Absolutely reverted, and I'm not crazy about it. And next week, Baltimore plays.
Go through their next 4 games quick.
Where is Baltimore?
You want me to pull it up?
Baltimore's in Cleveland on Sunday. And then
Cleveland's back against the wall. That's going to be a hard game.
Then they're home for the Packers.
Tough game.
Very tough. Then in week 16, they are in Cincinnati. Week 17, they are home for the Rams.
Oh, my God. This is a disaster.
And then week 18, home for Pittsburgh.
Wow. Joe, there's a legitimate chance they're outside looking in.
No, I don't think they're outside looking in. I don't. I think
No?
that's a little premature. Listen, they're 8-3. Okay? 10-7 is going to get you in the playoffs in the AFC.
Yeah, it's true, but
Okay.
man, that schedule's hard.
10-7 is going to get you in the playoffs in the AFC. You're asking them to win 2 of their last 5 games. It's possible. Definitely. The Ravens are a good football team. They'll win 2 of their last 5 football games, okay? Maybe even 3 of their last 5 and finish 11-6. But I'm telling you, you know, there's a couple of those teams that I do not like them against. I think they beat Cleveland. I don't think Cleveland's very good next week. I don't love them against the Packers.
No.
I don't love them against Cincinnati in Cincy, but Cincy would that means that Cincy would sweep them. Cincy's been a lot of Jekyll and Hyde too this season.
We're going to get to them next.
Yeah. I like them against the Rams, and then the Steelers. I mean, on paper, John is just dying on me right now.
I am.
You got water right there.
Go
guy.
ahead, Joe.
You got water right
It
there.
was so much worse.
But with the Steelers, you got to throw everything out the window with the Steelers. They when those two play each other, it's just it's a dogfight.
Yeah.
Really, not much to say for Pittsburgh. I'm still out on them. I don't care that they're 6-5-1. I don't think they're a threat to do anything, or let alone make the playoffs. So I'm not even going to give them the time of day.
And then they'll beat my Vikings tonight. So
Jesus.
that's that.
Let's go to our third and final game, and that is the L.A. Chargers, who walked into Cincinnati, and they ruled the jungle.
This was a wild game.
Crazy game. They beat
Crazy
the Bengals 41-22 in a game that the Chargers really owned from the get-go. And then they I'm going to say it, they chargered, and the Bengals came roaring back
And then they unchargered.
to make it 24-22, and then the Chargers were like, okay, let's finish the game out. And they won. Mainly because of the pick six that Burrow threw.
Yeah,
Or
Burrow's
Was
pinky.
it a fumble?
There was a fumble and a pick.
I think it was a fumble return that they picked up.
Yes, you're right.
Fumble
yes.
return for a touchdown.
Off a Mixon.
Yeah, and that really ended the game.
Yeah.
But my word, what an insane game that was. And it was an important game, man.
For both
For
teams.
two teams that are fighting for a wild card berth, really. I mean, I think LA still got their hearts set on the division, and they've got a real shot at it because they play Kansas City one more time.
Yes, they do.
But for two teams who are looking to both get to the playoffs for the first time in a long time, this is a big game for both teams. And it was really a costly loss for Cincinnati because if they would have won this game and completed the comeback, they would have been in first place after what we just talked about with the Ravens losing. They would have been the leaders of the AFC North going into this weekend coming up.
Can we talk about the throw that Burrow had to Jamar Chase that Jamar Chase just didn't want to catch?
Go for it.
That was such a weird play. He was wide open for a 70-yard touchdown. Burrow hits him in stride, and he just kind of bobbles the ball, and it was picked off.
Couldn't see the ball, I guess.
It just didn't make any sense. I was like, what the I've never seen anything like that. Listen, if Burrow didn't hurt his pinky, I think there might have been something there. I mean, Mixon got a little banged up too.
Yeah.
I actually watched most of this game. It was just, we were in the group chat, in the fantasy group chat, and we were like, oh my God, what's going on? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, the Bengals are coming back. The Chargers are charging.
Yeah.
And everyone was just like, oh, the Chargers are charging. And then they unchargered, which I've never seen them do before. Herbert, holy cow, dude.
Herbert's official numbers 26-35 for 317, 3 scores, and a pick. Mike Williams had 5 for 110. Jalen Guyton had 4 for 90 and a score. Keenan Allen had 5 catches for 34 yards and 2 tutties. And Austin Eckler did his thing. He punched in it. Austin Eckler has 15 touchdowns in 12 games this year.
Yeah, it's wild.
Fantasy stud.
Your son.
My son.
Herbert, do you see the velocity he throws the ball?
Herbert is a top 5 thrower of the football in the NFL.
He almost took Keenan Allen's head off.
Guy's incredible. I want to talk about the Chargers for a minute because you crossed them off
I did.
a couple weeks ago. I did not.
You did not.
I'm telling you, this team's got too much talent to just wither away. I think, at least. We talked about for years, right? Obviously, before this podcast even launched. But we talked about for years when Phillip Rivers was in his decline that this team needed an elite level quarterback and they would take off,
Yeah.
right? They finally got that elite level quarterback. And it seems they got everything in place, right? They got the running back. Or Eckler is
All world.
Eckler is
pro.
He's not a great standard running back, but in today's NFL, he's fantastic. He's great in space. He could run, for spurts here and there. He's like an Alvin Kamara light. But Alvin Kamara is a better runner.
He's an all-pro back, Joe.
Right? He's great.
It's incredible.
He's great. You got 2 really good receivers in Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. The offensive line's getting a lot better. Rashawn Slater should be an all-rookie. Corey Linsley's been an all-pro center for them.
Mike Williams, man, he turned it around.
And here's one thing about Herbert. This is why I say he's a top 5 thrower of the football. Okay? There's maybe 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, right? Brady's 1. I think
Mahomes.
Mahomes is another one. Yeah, Mahomes is another one. Rodgers is one. And maybe Herbert after that. Honestly.
I feel like I know where you're going with this.
Herbert makes mediocre receivers better than they are.
Yep.
Jalen Guyton is not a top flight receiver. But Jalen Guyton looked like he was open all day long on Sunday. And all day, it was crazy. Justin Herbert throws people open, okay?
He has some of the best arm angles.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Like his arm, he makes throws. Like that's what I thought you were going to say. There are not many guys that can make throws like this. And
No.
Not many guys I've ever seen that can make throws like this. The way like he drives the football, it's effortless.
Yeah.
Effortless.
I feel like if you look at his mechanics, he puts so much power in his legs when he throws a football. He just like it's like he powers up. Like you're playing a video game, and you got like a power. Like so, he powers up because he has
pulls it back.
He has a long motion to throw the football. I don't know if you ever purely.
Yes.
I think he has a long motion to throw the football. Like Aaron Rodgers, like quick
Flick of the wrist,
slings, right? Herbert has like this long kind of like wind up to throw it.
It's like Trevor.
But he needs it. Right, yes.
It's like Trevor.
Similar, yes. I even think Herbert's maybe a little bit longer than Trevor's.
Yes, possibly. Trevor's has that little wind up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what Herbert is able to do is just... Now, I will say this. He is still a young quarterback, and you do see him still making young QB mistakes.
Yeah.
At times. Takes bad sacks a couple of times. Throws into traffic a little bit too much, I think, sometimes.
He trusts his arm a little too much at
Right.
times.
But you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with him throwing it, then not making the throw.
We've always said that. We want to see the guy just do it 50 times.
Yeah.
If you hit a 45, that's good. If
Right.
you have 5 mistakes, we'll take it.
Right, absolutely.
That's it.
Again, I think this team, if they could just figure out a way over the course of the next month to find a way to stop the run. If they could figure out a way, I'm not asking them to be top 10. I'm asking them to be 17th. I'm asking them to be 16th. League average in stopping the run over the course of the next month of the season. I think they are a dark horse candidate. If this team gets hot, John, they could do damage.
I know. I crossed them off. I'm not going to uncross them, but I see what you mean. But Bosa, man, they lost Bosa again.
They got the Giants on Sunday. They should wax the Giants on
They
Sunday.
should, even though they might be down a few guys.
Then they got the Chiefs on Thursday Night Football.
And we're talking. And this is for the division.
Yeah, now if they sweep the Chiefs would have to have a better record than them to win the division.
Yeah.
So it's a huge game on that Thursday. Mm-hmm. Then you have, and in Houston, all day. John's dying on me again. Yeah, baby. Let it out. Yeah,
I gave the cough warning in the beginning.
Then they have Denver at home. I don't think they lose to Denver twice this season.
I don't think so either.
Right? And then in week 18, final week of the season, they have why can't I find it? The Raiders in Vegas.
It's a what's it called?
John, they should have 11 wins by the end of the year. They should be a double-digit win team by the end of the season.
What do we have them at? I had them at
11-6.
11-6.
And they're 7-5 right now. And they play the Giants, they play the Broncos, they play the Texans, and they play the Raiders. Those are 4 of the 5 teams they have left to play. On paper, they're better than all 4 of those teams.
Yeah.
But they're also the Chargers, so we know that sometimes they just
charger.
They just show up. Let's switch gears to the Bengals really quick.
Yeah.
Bengals continue to just be a mystery team every week. Last week they come out and they dominate. Was it Pittsburgh? No.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh they dominated last
They
week?
blitzed them.
Let me see. I lost my...
I'm pretty sure it was
No.
Pittsburgh.
Oh, wait, no. Wait, hold on. You may be right. You may be right. Yes. Dominate the Steelers, 41-10. And what, like that the Steelers done, they're cooked, right? It's great. Then they come back this week and they just at home, fall behind 24-0 to the Chargers, then come roaring back, and then they have the fumble, they lose a fumble,
and they collapse
return,
again.
and then they don't recover after that. This team is... We said last week they reclaimed their status as threats in the AFC. I still think they're threats because on any given Sunday they can outplay you.
Yeah.
But they're not consistent enough for me yet. They're not consistent enough, right? Like,
It's too all over.
if you want to win the AFC North, you have to beat the Chargers at home. You have to. AFC North is, I think, the only division in football, one of two divisions in football, I think. Broncos, the AFC West and AFC North. They don't have a team below 500 in that division at all. Those are tough divisions. So you got to get wins where you can. You cannot come out flat in these these big games like this. Now they lose a head-to-head against the Chargers, right?
Yep.
Thankfully, they've beaten Baltimore. They've beaten Pittsburgh, right? So they're better off winning the division, because if they don't win the division, you know, they are going to maybe fall to like a 7 seed and play the number 2 seed.
Frisky 7, but
But my point being is because they've lost so many of these close games, you know, it makes it tough when you have to have all these tiebreakers. What did you think of Cincinnati's performance on Sunday?
it was one of the weirder performances they've had all year, right? Because when they came out and they were down 24-0, it was almost like in a blink of an eye, they were down 24-0. I had no idea. The defense just didn't show up, and this defense has been great the last few weeks, right? They were they were like firing on all cylinders, and then they're not running the ball well. Burrow hurts the pinky. Things started to not look good. Jamar Chase is dropping footballs. T. Higgins was unstoppable in this game.
Yeah, T. Higgins is great.
Listen, you said the Chargers have weapons. I mean, man, the Bengals just have so many weapons, and I think they do make the playoffs still. I think they are a playoff team.
Yeah, I think they're a playoff team too.
But like you said, you just can't. It's hard to really lose games like this, considering now you need to win the division, and your division is hard. Your division is hard. Listen, they're gonna play Pittsburgh again, right?
Yes, I believe so.
I don't think that it's gonna be a 41-3 stomping again. Do you?
I think they're just more athletic than Pittsburgh is. That's why I think they'll beat Pittsburgh again.
Well, all right, but is it gonna be like a drudging?
No, it has the potential to be though.
And what if we're down the stretch and Pittsburgh's back in this?
Yeah, then it becomes. Well, I don't think they play Pittsburgh again. Actually.
Oh, they played them twice already?
Yeah, let me see. Yeah,
They swept them? Why do I feel like they only played them once?
I don't. Let me see. Let me see.
I mean, whoever they play again, they got to play one of the division teams again.
They play Baltimore again. And they play Cleveland again.
Okay. Cleveland still thinks that they're alive. They technically are, but like you said, I agree with you. I don't think they are. And Baltimore has something to prove now.
Yeah, Cincinnati beat Pittsburgh twice.
Okay, all right. So forget Pittsburgh. Forget that whole bit. What no matter how you slice it, they're playing against teams that are still alive. They're not playing dead teams in their division.
Listen, the Bengals have San Francisco this week. Next week they're in Denver. Then they got the Ravens. Then they got the Chiefs, and they finish off with the Browns.
Tough.
Not easy.
The 49ers, they got to win.
Those are not easy games. But again, you're right. My point. You got Frisco at home. And that's another game where both teams need that game. Yeah. San Francisco just lost a game they absolutely should have won in Seattle.
It's funny. Just sidebar on that. I thought they won. I looked at the score and I was like, Seattle won. I was that shocked.
Really?
I was that shocked.
So they're 6-6 now. Cincinnati's 7-5. And let's lead this into the standings conversation.
The AFC, yeah.
Okay? So as it stands right now, Patriots 1, Baltimore, Patriots 9-4, number 1. Baltimore 8-4, number 2. Tennessee 8-4, number 3, right? Kansas City 8-4, number 4. The reason Kansas City's 4 is because They lost to Baltimore and to Tennessee head-to-head.
Yes.
Both teams had lost to head-to-head, so if all those teams win the divisions, the Chiefs will be locked into the 4.
Yes.
Okay? And the reason for that is because they don't play New England this year because they didn't come in the same place last year. New England came in second, and Kansas City came in first. That's why they played Buffalo this year.
Okay.
But common opponents win-loss record, New England has a better win-loss record than common opponent, which is why they're higher seeded than Kansas City.
You're so smart, Joe.
Thank you so much. Then you look at the wild cards, okay? You got the number 6 seed right now. Number 5 seed, I believe, is the Chargers. Mm-hmm. The number 6 is Cincinnati. And Buffalo is number 7.
Oof.
Okay? So if the season ended today, the Patriots would have the bye. We'd see Buffalo travel to Baltimore. It would be an epic wild card game.
That'd be great.
We would see Cincinnati travel to Tennessee.
That'd be a good game.
And we'd see LA Chargers play the Chiefs, which would be fantastic.
Fireworks.
Which would be fantastic. On the outside looking in, Colts, 7-6. Half game back, have a bye this week, could sit back and just see what happens. Come not out of it at all yet, right?
Definitely not. They're a dangerous team if they could get in.
Absolutely. Then you have the Raiders and the Broncos both at 6-6.
Okay.
Not out of it. You know, like I said, the seeds 5 through 7 are 7-5. So these teams are a game out. Dolphins 6-7, game and a half out. Not gone yet.
Nope.
Steelers 6-5-1. They're a half game out because of the tie.
Yeah, not done yet.
So, and the Browns are 6-6. So they're not out of it yet either. There's a lot of action that's going to happen, and I'm telling you, I think there's 3 locks so far for the playoffs. New England, Baltimore, and Tennessee. Those are my locks. I can't say Kansas City's a lock yet because they have to play LA again. They lost to Buffalo. Mm-hmm. Okay? So they don't have the head-to-head against the Bills. They currently don't have the head-to-head against the Chargers. They lost to them. They got to play Cincinnati in Week 17. So that'll be a huge game if it gets to that point. Humongous game. Yeah. That would be a playoff game.
Playoff atmosphere.
So, a lot of stuff.
Kansas City this past week, man, their offense just couldn't get going.
Listen, I know people we want to get on Kansas City's offense a little bit, but the Denver defense is a good defense. It's not a bad defense.
It's not bad. But listen, I'll say this. The Kansas City defense.
Excellent.
Excellent.
It's been a top 3 unit the past 2 months.
Yeah, they've been different.
Excellent. Steve Spagnuolo for MVP.
Wow. Hot take?
Heard it here first. First coach to win the MVP award. All right. We're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to do our sleepers and busts and our game picks. All right, John. It's that time.
It's that time.
It is that time. Folks, we're on a roll again. 5 for 6 last week in sleepers and busts. For the second week in a row, we hit on all 3 busts. Bust quarterback being Joe Burrow. Bust running back being Darrell Henderson, who didn't even really play, but I'll count it anyway because he was active. And bust wide receiver Stephon Diggs. Nailed 2 of the 3 sleepers. Did not hit on Matt Ryan, the quarterback. Hit on Tevin Coleman. Good call, John. And hit on Van Jefferson. Also a good call, John.
He had a huge game.
You said in between 15 to 20 points. He had 16 points. Good call by you.
Thank you,
Tevin
Justin.
Coleman was a nice flex play this week if anybody decided to play him. I don't know if you did. But we're going back at it again.
So we want to do sleepers and busts first, or you want to do the game picks?
We're going to do sleepers and busts first,
Okay.
and we're going to collab again. Ooh. Okay?
I already have my running back sleeper ready.
Talk to me. Hit me with some knowledge.
All right. He's a guy on my team.
Oh, you're going with your team.
Dontrell Hilliard.
Dontrell Hilliard, talk to me.
He's going against the Jacksonville defense that just gave Sony Michel a Pro Bowl nod. They made Sony Michel look incredible. So before the bye, he actually had 2 huge games. He played 63% of the snaps against Houston for 18.5 fantasy points. He had 10 targets, 8 catches for 47 yards. And that's basically where he got all his fantasy points. And then he followed that up with New England, a very good rush defense. He played 51% of snaps, 12 carries for 131. He had a huge 70-yard run, 10 yards a clip for a touchdown. Going against Jacksonville, I think he could do more of the same. I think what you're seeing with Tennessee is that they know that they need to get the run going. Adrian Peterson, they cut him. They knew that wasn't going to work. Deontay Foreman, sorry, washed. This is their best. This is their best option. Is Dontrell Hilliard? I have him as a flex play in a game that I technically don't need to win, but that's my running back sleeper. What do you got for me?
I'm going to give you a wide receiver sleeper.
Ooh,
Okay, and this guy's been doing good lately, and I'm going to give him a sleeper just purely because of the team that he plays on. That's Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore is a guy. If you haven't paid attention, I believe he's a top 10 fantasy wide receiver over the past month of the season, and he's not starting in like 50% of fantasy leagues, which is insane. And you know why? It's because he has the word JETS on his helmet. But let me tell you, Elijah Moore is the number 1 receiver in that Jet offense.
he is.
Bar none. He's what Corey Davis was supposed to be. And shocker, Corey Davis let everybody down. Sorry. But I kind of expected it. Elijah Moore is an unbelievable flex play against a, let's put it lightly, struggling Saints team. Coming into MetLife on Sunday. I think this game's a complete toss-up. I think the Jets can win this game on Sunday.
They could.
I really do. So I like Elijah Moore for 20-plus on Sunday.
Elijah Moore. Did Richie put him in his lineup? He did.
He did put him in his lineup?
He did.
He should.
God damn it.
What do you got? What do you got for me?
For a bust?
Give me a wide receiver bust. Give me a quarterback sleeper or bust, or give me a running back. Give me a running back bust.
I'm going to your team because I fucking hate your team. So my wide receiver bust this week is actually going to be DK Metcalf.
Oh, well, I see. You know the great thing about this, John, is
What?
this game means nothing to me.
I know it doesn't, but
Means nothing.
I still just want DK Metcalf to be a bust. But no, really though, seriously. So DK Metcalf, man, I don't know what's going on in this offense. They have some offensive pass problems here. So DK Metcalf, since week 10, he's had 5.5 points, 7 points, 2 points, and then he got back on the horse with 11 points against San Francisco. 5 catches for 60 yards, big whoop. He is an afterthought in this offense when the first 8 weeks of the season he was damn near unstoppable. I mean, huge games, 26 points, 25 points, 2 touchdowns, a touchdown. Like, he was unstoppable. Now he's just an afterthought. I don't know what's going on with this team. They claim they're not dead yet. They're very dead. I just do not like DK
They
Metcalf.
claim they're not dead, but they're pretty dead.
Yeah, pretty dead.
All right, I got a running back bust
Okay.
for this week.
Go ahead.
David Montgomery.
I like it.
Sunday night against a Green Bay Packer team that is excellent defensively this season.
Welcome back, Jair Alexander.
Jair Alexander, he might play. The Bears are 4-8. They're on the brink of elimination. David Montgomery has some nagging injuries. I expect even if David Montgomery plays and he's active, I expect a lot of Khalil Herbert on Sunday night.
Yeah.
So I'm going bust David Montgomery. So running back sleeper, Dontrell Hilliard. Running back bust, David Montgomery. Wide receiver sleeper, Elijah Moore. Wide receiver bust,
DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf. Let's go to the quarterbacks.
Okay.
What do you got for me?
It's quarterback sleeper. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. What's that? What is that? Curb Your Enthusiasm?
No, I don't think so.
Isn't that the noise that they make? I'm going through teams now to see.
You're going through teams that you see?
Yeah, because I just, you know what it is? I don't want to pick my own guy again.
Well, who's your own guy? Who are you thinking about?
I mean, I was going to say quarterback sleeper Taysom Hill, but I don't.
I mean, I can't say that because
don't
I
wanna be
picked
that
Matt
guy.
Ryan this week, and the Tampa Bay defense kind of impressed me a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say no.
All right. You know who I'm going to go? You know I'm going to go sleeper?
Talk to me.
All right. I think Kyler Murray shows up big time.
As a sleeper?
Against the Rams.
As a sleeper.
Well, because you know what you would think.
Kyler Murray. He's not a sleeper. Come on. You're better than that. You're better than that.
All right, then you know what? Fuck it. I'm going with Taysom Hill then.
All right.
Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is going against the Jets.
No, he's not. He's going against the Bucks.
No, the Saints are playing.
Oh, yes.
The Jets.
Hello. I was looking at the wrong week.
That's why I was confused. No, all right, there we go. Taysom Hill. That's my sleeper. He's going against a Jet defense. They can't stop a nosebleed on the run. He's going to run the ball 40 times.
40 times?
This is going to be a Patriot. This is going to be a Patriots offensive special. No, listen, he's dealing with a mallet finger. It does not need surgery. But, I mean, Taysom Hill, even last week, he had 26 points, 19 of 41. He should not be throwing 41 passes. For 264, 2 touchdowns, and 4 picks.
2 tutties.
He ran the ball 11 times for 101 yards at a 9-yard clip. Okay? Listen, he's going to get you points.
Well,
Especially against a Jet team that, they could win that game, but even so.
quarterback bust. You ready?
Go ahead.
Lamar Jackson.
Oh.
Sorry. Simply put,
Sorry.
need to see it from him now. This is a month of bad play. I got to see it. Done. Drop
He's
the mic.
officially on the bust radar.
On the bust. That's it. There's nothing else to say. I don't want to see numbers. I want to see nothing. Lamar Jackson is a bust until he's not a bust.
Wow. Joe didn't even go into detail on that one. He just wanted to go for Lamar's throat there. I like that. And poor Matt in our league. He needs to start him in a must-win game for the bye week.
Has nothing to do with the gangster.
All right, are you ready for the picks? Because I already went through mine. I'm basically ready.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about this really quick. Last week, John had a brief lead. It is gone after he went 1-4 last week, and I had my second 5-0 week of the season. I am now 30-30 on the year, officially at 500 with 5 weeks to play. John is at 28-32. So, John, you are 2 games back.
This is unbelievable.
Talk to me.
All right, upset special. Detroit Lions +10.
Oh, you're taking him.
I am. That's an absurd line. In what world are the Denver Broncos favored by 10?
I would just take that because the Lions are fantastic against the spread for some reason.
For some reason they are. My next game. Can I? You know what? Fuck it. I'm changing it up. I'm doing 2 upset specials.
Oh, okay.
Is this an upset? They're technically home. I guess it is an upset. Because they're not the team you would think would win. I'm going Washington football team +4 at home for Dallas.
Do you think they're going to win?
I think they're going to win.
Wow.
I am going Baltimore +2.5 in Cleveland.
Okay.
Wow, I'm getting frisky this week. Joe, I'm feeling.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty.
I'm feeling alive right now. I'm going Jacksonville +8.5 in Tennessee.
That's dumb. It's dumb.
I'm taking all dogs this week. And you know what I'm gonna do for my last pick? You know what I'm gonna do?
Talk to me.
Just for you?
Yeah.
My last dog. I'm taking the Vegas Raiders +9.5 in Kansas City. Book it.
Okay. All right. I don't even want to.
I'm getting off the schneid with the dogs this week.
Okay. Give me the Bucks -3 at home against the Bills.
Okay.
Give me. I'll take the Lions +10 as well. Ride that train.
Aren't they it's some crazy number against the
They're
spread?
like 10-1 against the spread. It's ridiculous. Give me the Jets +5.5 as my upset special.
Frisky.
Wow. I don't like a lot of these spreads this week.
Yeah, the lines are terrible.
Give me the Chargers -9.5 against the Giants. Giants did not impress me at all last week. I don't think they're a very good football team. Take the Chargers -9.5. I'm going to put some faith in this. Give me the Bengals +1.5 at home against San Francisco.
Whoa!
And then my final spread, it's the first time I'm ever going to do this. I'm taking the Titans -8.5 against the Jaguars.
Wow, so you went the other way. All right,
I'm betting against my team because they suck.
Damn.
Suck.
I just want to have faith in them.
Well, folks, that's a wrap. Week 14 upon us with Vikings Steelers tonight. John, can I get a score prediction for Steelers Vikings?
Dalvin Cook's playing even though he shouldn't. I I don't know. I mean, 20-17. I'll just go my team, but who knows? Probably lose.
He's so depressed.
I'm depressed. After last week, I'm done. I don't. Wait, real quick before we go.
Yeah.
That was the worst defensive call ever. I don't have the energy in me to do what you did, where you stood outside the room last week and did the whole like DB thing.
Yeah.
But it was like that, but worse. Like on the 12-yard line.
Just dumb.
No press coverage.
Dumb. Dumb.
Zimmer should have been fired.
Dumb. He's gonna get fired.
If they lose tonight, he's done.
Think so?
Yeah, he's done. How do you keep him?
Wow. Well, we'll see. Vikings Steelers. Some people are starting their fantasy playoffs tonight. Make sure you have your lineups locked in.
Oh yeah, we do.
Yep. Najee Harris. Hopefully 5 touchdowns tonight.
5 tutties?
I hope so. That'd be great. Anyway, for my host, John McCarthy, my name is Joe Miglio. See you folks next week.